Welcome to 21st Sports Recap and Reaction for the New England Patriots at the New York Giants in their Week 10 matchup played November 15th, 2015. We're going to go over the scores and the stats and give our breakdown and analysis. We're actually going to go in and look at every possession of this game. And the Patriots started off this game with an 80-yard drive, 14 plays, eating up about 8.5 minutes, and that would be capped off with a 1-yard touchdown pass by Tom Brady to the tight end Scott Chandler, and with the extra point by Gostkowski, it was 7-0 Patriots over the Giants. The Giants would come right back, and they scored pretty quick less than a minute later when Eli Manning hit Odell Beckham Jr. for an 87-yard touchdown pass. Brown had the extra point, and this game was tied up at 7 apiece with less than 6 minutes left in the first quarter. The Patriots would go 3 and out on their next possession, as would the Giants, and the Patriots would get the ball back, and they would drive. They would actually bring the first quarter to a close in the red zone as they got all the way down eventually in the second quarter to the 8-yard line, but on 3rd and 4, Brady was sacked by Dahl, and out would come Gostkowski to attempt a 31-yard field goal. It was up, it was good. The Patriots were now back in the lead, now up by 3 with the score 10-7 with about 13 minutes left before halftime. So now the Giants would get the ball on their own 20. They would bring it up to midfield and into New England territory on 3rd and 8 from the 44. Eli Manning hit White for a 28-yard reception. That set up a first down in the red zone on the New England 16. But Eli Manning would be sacked on the next play by Chandler Jones. He forced the fumble. Coleman recovered. And now the Patriots would take over after that fumble in their own territory on their own 16. But they would end up having to punt the ball as they would go 3 and out. So the Patriots go 3 and out. Of course, that was in part due to an offensive pass interference call. But so now the Giants took over after not allowing any points off of that fumble. Now after the punt, the Giants had the ball on their own 46. They would drive into New England territory, but they would have their drive stall on the 19, right in the red zone technically, the very edge of the red zone. But Josh Brown would come out to attempt a 37-yard field goal, and he hit it, and it was now tied up at 10 apiece after the field goal with about 4 minutes still left in the first half. The Patriots would then punt the ball on their next possession after 6 plays, and now the Giants would take over after the punt on their own 26. Manning went to Reuben Randall. He picked up 31 yards to bring the ball into New England territory, and then on a 3rd and 10, Manning went to Harris for an 11-yard reception that made it first down at the 32. He then went to Ty for 31 yards. Now it's 1st and goal on the 1. And on 2nd and goal, Manning would hit Dwayne Harris for a 1-yard touchdown pass with just seconds left in the first half as the Giants took the lead. And they would extend it to 7 with the extra point by Josh Brown with the score 17-10. So that would be the score at halftime as the Patriots just took a knee and let the clock go into the intermission. So on the first possession of the second half, the Giants would drive down into field goal range. Josh Brown hit a 38-yard field goal, and now the G-men were up by 10 with the score New York 20, Patriots 10. The Patriots would then go 3 and out on their next possession and punt the ball to New York, who would go 3 and out as well and punt it right back to the Patriots. But with that punt, as they punted the ball to the Patriots, an 82-yard punt return by Danny Amendola brings it all the way down to the New York 7-yard line. And a few plays later, of course, there was the penalty for pass interference on 2nd and goal that gave him 1st and goal on the 1. And then on 2nd and goal, Garrett Blount punches it in from a yard out. Gostkowski hit the extra point. And now with that score, it was a 3-point game with the score New York 20, New England 17 with about 5 minutes left in the third quarter. So now the Giants would drive down on their next possession, starting off on their own 20. They'd drive up to midfield and down into field goal range. Their drive would stall on the New England 35, and out came Josh Brown to attempt a 53-yard field goal. It was up, it was good, and now the Giants extended their lead to 6 with the score 23-17 with less than a minute left in the third. So the Patriots would take over on their own 20. They'd bring the third quarter to a close, and on the first play of the fourth quarter, Tom Brady was sacked by Brinkley. He forces the fumble. It was recovered by Kuhn, and now the Giants would take over after the forced fumble on the New England 31, but they would end up going backwards as Manning was sacked. At first, the penalty for illegal contact, then Manning was sacked for a 13-yard loss by Ninkovich, and so they ended up having a punt from the 42 on 4th and 21. So now the Patriots, after the fair catch, would take over on their own 14, and they'd pick up a first down, and then on first down from the 24, Brady airs it out. He hits Rob Gronkowski, and Gronkowski breaks the tackle and goes 76 yards for the touchdown. Gostkowski kicks the extra point, and the Patriots were now in the lead 24-23, and it was the first time they'd had the lead since they were up 10-7 early in the second. It's now early in the fourth, up by 1 with that extra point by Gostkowski after that 76-yard touchdown by Rob Gronkowski. The Giants would then go 3-and-out on their next possession. Now the Patriots would take over after the punt on their own 19, and they would end up with a big play by Brady on 1st and 10 from the 31 as he hit LaFell for a 54-yard reception that brought the Patriots down into the red zone to the New York 15. They ended up with a 1st and goal, and they had a touchdown, but a holding penalty would actually bring them back to the New York 11, 1st and goal. Brady then sacked for a 4-yard loss by JPP, but a penalty against the Giants would make it 1st and goal on the 6, illegal use of the hands. So now 1st and goal on the 6, and then after picking up a yard, it was 2nd and goal on the 5, and Brady was intercepted by McBride. So McBride with the huge interception right there. And so now the Giants would take over after the interception on their own 3-yard line. So they would drive down, and they were faced with a 3-and-1 on the 12, and Manning hit Beckham for a 12-yard reception to make it a first down on the 24. Then they were faced with another 3rd-and-1, this time at the 33. They give it to Jennings. He picks up 2 and a first down at the 35. Then they were faced with a 3rd and 3 from the 42, and Manning went to Harris. He picked up 30 yards, crossed midfield and into New England territory, at the New England 28. So then the Patriots, in between that play, they took a first timeout and then their second timeout. Now 2nd and 5 at the 23. Manning would hit Harris for an 18-yard pass. The Giants took a timeout, and it was now 1st and goal on the 5. Eli Manning drops back and he hits Odell Beckham Jr. It's called a touchdown, but they review it because all scoring plays are reviewed, and it was reversed. So it was an incomplete pass, and we're reaching almost the 2-minute warning. They had an incomplete pass that would bring it to the 2-minute warning. And so now coming out of the 2-minute warning, it was 3rd and goal on the 5, and Eli Manning was sacked by Brown. He drops him for a 6-yard loss, and now the Patriots take their final timeout, and out comes Josh Brown to attempt a 29-yard field goal. It was up, it was good, and now the Giants were in the lead by 2 with the score 26-24 with less than 2 minutes left to play. So now the Patriots take over, and they got one last shot at it, down by 2. Tom Brady and the Patriots take over on their own 20 after the touchback. An incomplete pass would bring up 2nd down, and another incomplete pass brought up 3rd down, another incomplete pass, and now it's 4th and 10 at the 20. So it looked like this drive was about to end before it even got started. But on 4th and 10, Brady hits Amendola for a 12-yard reception, comes up with a clutch catch, and now it's 1st down on the New England 32. Brady then goes to Gronkowski, picks up 7, 2nd and 3 on the New England 39. Brady then goes to Dobson, he picks up 5, and it's a 1st down on the New England 44. An incomplete pass brings up 2nd and 10 from the 44. Brady then goes to Amendola, and now it's a 1st down at the New York Giants 45. Then on 2nd and 10 from the 45, Brady hits Amendola for a 9-yard pass. Brady spikes the ball, just 19 seconds left. The Giants take their final timeout, and out comes Gostkowski. They were trying to ice him, and it was a 54-yard field goal attempt. And so now on a 54-yard field goal attempt, Stephen Gostkowski just narrowly, barely hits it in. It just barely stayed in, and the New England Patriots take the lead by 1 with the score 27-26. But there was still 1 second left on the clock, and so they'd have to kick it off. And on the kickoff, a wild play. It just fumble after fumble. They kept throwing the ball all around. It kept staying alive. The final play seemed to take like an eternity, but eventually Odell Beckham Jr. ended up stepping out of bounds after a bunch of craziness. It almost seemed like they might even return it for a touchdown with how the play just kept going. They just kept fumbling it and laterally it, and it was just so crazy. But the play finally comes to an end. The game comes to an end. A wild finish, and the Patriots remain undefeated. They're now just one of 2 teams that are undefeated in the NFL. Well, actually 3 teams. It's the Bengals, the Patriots, and the Panthers are the only undefeated teams left in the NFL. And the Patriots win this one in a wild finish. It almost looked like they were going to be handed their first loss, as the Giants had beat them in those Super Bowls. But the Patriots win this one. A big win for New England. They're undefeated on the season and on the road. And the Giants are now 5-5 on the season. They're 3-2 at home. It's a crazy game as the Giants stay in the lead in the East by a half a game. And the Patriots, of course, tied with the Bengals for the best record in the AFC. And they have the best record in their division, as they have a 4-game lead over Buffalo and New York. I said the Giants have a half-game lead over the Eagles and the Redskins, as the Eagles lost today and the Redskins won, and they're both at 4-5. What a wild game, and it shows you how good both of these teams are. As close as this one was, either team could have won, but the Patriots come up with a big road victory. The Giants nearly beat the Patriots and played the villain almost once again, as they're the team that stopped the Patriots from the perfect season back when they beat them in that Super Bowl, and then they beat them again. If it wasn't for the Giants, Tom Brady would have 6 rings, but Brady gets the win here, a big win here in 2015 to stay undefeated on the season. And Brady, 26 for 42, 334 passing yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. LeGarrette Blount, 19 carries for 66 yards and a touchdown. He also had 2 receptions for 11 yards, which gave him 77 yards on the game. Rob Gronkowski, 5 receptions, 113 yards, and a touchdown. He had that 76-yard touchdown. Amendola, 10 receptions, 79 yards. Brandon LaFell, 2 receptions, 66 yards. Julian Edelman, 4 receptions, 53 yards. And for the Giants, Eli Manning, 24 for 44, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rashad Jennings, 11 carries for 39 yards. And he also had 2 receptions for 12 yards, which gave him 51 total yards. Odell Beckham Jr., 4 receptions for 104 yards and a touchdown. Dwayne Harris, 6 receptions for 82 yards and a touchdown. Ty had 5 receptions for 56 yards. Ruben Randall, 3 receptions for 51 yards. And for the kickers, Josh Brown was 4 for 4 on the field goals, 2 for 2 on the extra points. Stephen Gostkowski, 2 for 2 on the field goals, 3 for 3 on the extra points, as both kickers were perfect in this game. And for the defense, for the Patriots, Brown had a sack, so did Ninkovich and Chandler Jones. Jones also had a forced fumble in this game. And for the Giants, Brinkley, Dahl, and Ayers Jr. each had sacks. McBride had an interception. Ayers Jr. and Brinkley each had forced fumbles. We look at the team stats: 22 first downs for the Patriots, 21 first downs for the Giants. On third down, the Patriots 7 of 14, 50%. They went for it once on fourth down. They did convert. And on third down for the Giants, 7 of 15, 46% converted. Total net yards, 422 for the Giants, 406 for the Patriots. On the ground, the Giants netted 80 yards, the Patriots 77. Through the air, the Giants netted 342, the Patriots 329. Both quarterbacks sacked 3 times. Eli was sacked 3 times, losing 19 yards total. Brady sacked 3 times, losing 5 yards total. We look at the penalties. 8 penalties against the Giants for 49 yards. 7 penalties against the Patriots for 93 yards. 1 less penalty, almost twice as many penalty yards against the Patriots. The Giants fumbled 3 times, lost once. The Patriots fumbled twice and lost once. And we look at the red zone. The Patriots 2 for 4, 50% in the red zone. The Giants just 1 for 5 in the red zone, just 20%. Time of possession, 31 minutes, 36 seconds for the Patriots, 28 minutes, 24 seconds for the Giants. And really, the red zone is where it was the difference. Is the Giants just that 1 red zone touchdown, they had to keep settling for field goals. And as we all know, you can't beat the Patriots with field goals. That's their gig. That's what they do. That's how they won their historic Super Bowls of the past when they won the 3 out of 4 years. Of course, that was now over a decade ago, but the Patriots have always been known for good kicking before Vinatieri. And of course, now Gostkowski. Gostkowski writes some history of his own, as he is definitely entering the mythos in New England of kickers with that 54-yard game-winning field goal that left just 1 second on the clock before that crazy wild finish at the end. Almost looked like it was going to be like not a Music City miracle, but the Big Apple miracle or something. But it didn't end up. The Patriots win. They stay undefeated, as Brady with the fourth quarter comeback with that drive, and they stayed alive. And it was a crazy drive there at the end for sure, as they've had to convert on all those third downs, but Brady came up clutch, and the receivers too. I mean, when they had to, they were holding on to the ball, and they made those receptions. And that's the thing, if you give Brady even a little bit of time, Brady's going to work his way down the field, and all they needed was the field goal for the win, and they do come away with the win in a wild game. I mean, it was as close as could be. The Giants gave the Patriots everything they had, but the Patriots found a way to win, and that's what they do. They are the defending champions, and they're undefeated now, 9-0. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and having a great weekend, and enjoy all the sports.